Hi, it's Mandy Chats, and I have been talking quite a bit about Wendy Ann, a friend of mine that is a accredited Michael system channel, stream of consciousness she likes to call it, into streaming energy and answers. Anyways, this book I've had for so long. It's made it through so many moves. It's called The Shift. What is it? Why is it happening? How is it affecting you? And The Mastery of Alchemy by Jim Self. This little green book. But as you can see, I have writing all over it, and this was the very first time I met Wendy Anna. I had made little notes back in 2008 when I first bought my metaphysical store. She was blue, the wind blew her in. So anyways, I have my original chart on this book, which is probably why it survived. But anyways, I was gonna read this whole book this morning to you because I felt called to do that. And let me just tell you about Jim Self. First, his bio. Jim Self is often introduced as a teacher's teacher and as a healer's healer. He has been leading seminars and teaching healing, clairvoyance, and personal energy management courses throughout North America since 1980. Jim has been featured on television, radio, and in international publications. Since childhood, Jim has retained a conscious awareness and ability to recall his experiences within the sleep state. Over the last 10 years, this awareness has expanded into relationships with the archangels, ascended masters, and teachers of light. The tools and information presented in Mastering Alchemy program is a co-creation of these relationships. Jim walks with one foot in both worlds. At an age of 26, he was elected to his first of 2 terms to the San Jose, California City Council, and later became the vice mayor. Before completing a second term, he was asked by President Jimmy Carter to be an advisor and the director of governmental operations for the Department of Energy. As an entrepreneur, he has successfully built and sold 2 corporations and is the founder and current board chairman of the third. So www.masteringalchemy.com, and that is his website. And this is, I think this was a gift from a friend, Ross. He's a gong master friend of mine, and I think he was studying with Jim Self and a few other people I know. So anyways, if that piques your interest, The Shift, what it is, why it's happening, how it's affecting you, and The Mastery of Alchemy, written by this man that has conscious awareness and been teaching and advising at a presidential level, then you know to stick around and listen to his book. Okay. Chapter 1, The Shift. What is it? We've been hearing about the shift for so long, it's hard to believe that it's finally here. And what precisely is shifting? What are we moving from, and what are we moving towards? And more importantly, what difference is it really going to make to your world, your life, your family, your loved ones, and you? Have you been noticing that time seems to be speeding up? Your memories aren't as reliable as they used to be. Stuff you thought you had dealt with is suddenly resurfacing, and nothing seems to be working the way that it used to. You're not alone. If you have been hearing people talk about moving from the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension, but you haven't a clue how that's going to come about or what specific changes is going to bring, or even what the 5th dimension is, you're also not alone. Moreover, it's no accident that you're reading this book at this moment, because it's been written for you. The purpose of this book is twofold. First, to present you with a container for much of the information that you already know, but may not be consciously aware that you know it. And second, to introduce you to a set of tools, skills, and opportunities that will enable you to build a platform that will allow you to step from a third dimensional unconsciousness into a higher dimensional awareness, fully conscious, and completely realigned with who you are and who you have always been, but don't remember at this moment. It is actually quite simple to create happiness, abundance, and well-being in your life. As with so many aspects of life, however, that which is simple is sometimes the hardest to grasp. For example, the 4-step formula for creation is truly this simple. 1, create an intention. 2, place your attention on your intention. 3, add an emotion such as happy, amused, excited, some kind of higher frequency emotion, and keep your attention on that. And then 4, the universe, through the law of attraction, will give to you precisely what you placed your attention upon. Your job's just to receive it and allow it to come to you, to let yourself have what you just asked for. In other words, ask and it shall be given unto you. Ask and it shall be given unto you. So why are most of us unable to follow this simple formula and create the lives that we desire? The noise of the third dimension is very distracting, pulling our attention into the past or projecting it into the future, where fear and anxiety often reside. When emotions such as worry, doubt, and lack arise, holding our attention on our intention to be happy can become challenging. The law of attraction gives us exactly what we place our attention on. It doesn't understand. Just give me the good stuff. So how you hold your emotions and thoughts is how the universe understands your asking. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, so it's quite a lot. I mean, it seems really simple, but it's quite a lot that goes on in the day when you get all like excited and you journal and you set your intentions and you're like, okay, I'm going to emote happy feelings, happy feeling thoughts, raise my frequency. Then, you know, like you have a fight or a stressful email or a text where you're misunderstood and the frequency goes down and you get stressed, anxious. So your emotional intelligence system is like the friggin' crypto market. It's like woo and then down and all over the place. So it would be really cool if we could just keep going up forever and, you know, get 2,000% on our investment in life, but it's kind of seems to be goes up and down. Says there's a shift, a transformation, a really big shift occurring. This shift that's underway is affecting every aspect of our third dimensional reality. This shift is so far-reaching that our limited imagination cannot begin to grasp the transition and the changes that we are now in the midst of experiencing. This shift is affecting every aspect of life on the planet, our political, social, and economic structures, the environment, institutions, and wars, and how we view our relationships, our work. Simply put, every thought that we think and every feeling that we feel is altering time. Okay? So every thought that you think and every feeling that you feel is altering the timeline and our memory and our DNA. So if you can't remember things, it's probably this. It's probably the shift. I mean, unless you have like obviously a medical problem, but just memory is very fleeting. So every thought that you think and every feeling that you feel is altering time. Your memory and your DNA and the wiring of our physical and emotional bodies, our beliefs, our preconceptions about good and bad, right and wrong. Most especially, this wave of change is affecting our awareness of what is possible. It is offering us abundant new understandings, instructions, and possibilities of how to once again live in harmony with each other, the environment, and all that is. However, between where we currently exist and this new higher dimension of heaven on earth, where we will soon arrive, there is a bit of a gap. So becoming aware of becoming aware. The shift in consciousness that is occurring is a shift in our very perception of the world. As most of us have played this game of life, we have tried to fit in and follow the rules. We have tried to create a better life for ourselves and for our families. However, in our rush to create more for ourselves, the bigger house, the better car, the higher salary, etc., all the physical trappings, many of us have discovered that we have actually created less. We have less time to spend in the big house. We have less time to enjoy the company of our family and friends, and less opportunity to appreciate a sunset or take pleasure in natural beauty that surrounds us. Many people have begun to feel that something's just not right, and something valuable has been lost. What is really missing, whether we are aware of it or not, is that we all have lost a part of ourselves along the way. That's true. How making the bargains. What you're willing to give up to get. It's like trading, a very transactional society. At the end of the day, more, bigger, and better has still not enough. We have disconnected from the things that truly nourish us, and it's left us physically ill, emotionally unhappy, mentally exhausted, and spiritually unclear about who we truly are. And this is beginning to change. As more and more of us are awakening, we are beginning to remember who we are. We are recognizing imbalances in our lives, and we are asking ourselves, what is really important to me? What truly makes me happy? The answer isn't found through gaining more of the outside world, but in gaining more of the me time within. In our rush to the top, we left a part of ourselves behind. We traded respect for competition, kindness for advantage, and giving for taking. We lost touch with our inner guidance, which has always directed us to the higher, more aligned place. This higher place is a place where cooperation, support, and understanding create deeper trust, friendships, and compassion. Something I think everybody would love more of, hey? More friendship, compassion, and deep trust. The shift is occurring within our hearts of all of humanity, and millions are beginning to awaken. It is an awakening of consciousness. It is taking place across the world in every town and village, and in the hearts of every child, woman and man. We are finding a new passion within, and we are beginning to recognize that who we are actually counts. We all matter, and we all have a contribution to make. This awakening consciousness has no limits. It is a shift that is taking us all into a higher dimensional awareness, a higher, more aligned way of life. We are becoming aware of becoming aware. Like the surrender experiment that I'm reading. It's a detachment, an observation of yourself in your life and in your relationships. The new waves of light. 2 massive waves of light and energy are moving through the universe, through the earth, and through each of us. These waves of change are working together in perfect synchronization, evolving everything into a higher consciousness. One wave is expanding outwards as an ever-ripening ripple on a pond, spreading greater light, knowledge, and wisdom, opening ever-expanding gateways to higher consciousness and evolution. This wave is shifting mass consciousness from the 3rd dimensional perspective through the 4th into the 5th dimensional perspective. This wave is creating a 5th dimensional community of higher consciousness on earth that is realigning us with the all that is. As this first wave accelerates, it is fascinating to observe how it is powerfully and positively affecting us. This wave is providing us with choices and presenting us with possibilities that have not been available to us before. This wave is also making it possible for the second wave to unlock all that has been keeping us stuck in the third dimension. This second wave operates very differently than the first. Its function is to create harmony. However, in order to achieve harmony, everything that's not of the light, everything that does not exist in well-being and balance is being destabilized, dissolved, and cleared away. Everything that's not aligned in our lives is being loosened and released. This wave is releasing all dysfunctional patterns on every level. All that is lacking in integrity will dissolve to be replaced with new patterns of energy, light, knowledge, and wisdom that are available in the first wave. In short, as one wave of light is emptying the vessel, the other wave of light is refilling it. These transformative waves are allowing all of us to rewire, reconnect, realign, and remember who we are and what we came here to accomplish. Like a tsunami, these waves are significantly stepping up the intensity. We will see tremendous transitions in the upcoming months and years. So that second wave is the wave that I've been talking about, where it feels like I'm losing everything. Everything's being taken away. And that is true, but I guess it's good reminder reading this to be aware that there's a reason that it's being taken and that losses are occurring, because it's not in alignment with the higher aspects of what my soul is asking for, and yours as well if you're also experiencing a lot of loss. Why is it all happening right now? This is all happening now because we have asked for it to occur. It is also happening now because we have succeeded in the most amazing way in accomplishing what we came here to achieve by playing this game of the third dimension. And it is now time to remember to return home to the heart of the Creator, the all that is. So should you be happy? Yes. Should you be excited? Yes. It is simple. Oh, is it simple? Yes. Is it going to be easy? Not exactly. But it does not have to be difficult either. We are playing in very exciting times, and in order to make this transition as easy as possible, we will need some new skills and tools to help us ride the waves with grace and ease. We also will need a new understanding as to how to perceive our surroundings differently and how to choose the reality that we wish to experience. Do you want to come in? Oh, she's good. We just lost her brother. He ran away and he's been missing. This is the 4th day now, so we're both sad, and she's a little out of sorts because they've been inseparable for a year. It's really sad. I guess another one of these things not in higher alignment. Okay, chapter 2. So that's the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2, how it might be affecting you. Time is going faster. This is definitely true. I mean, it's the 3rd month of 2025 already, and it feels like yesterday was New Year's on the beach with fireworks. Crazy. Okay, time is going faster. Many people are not aware of the precise nature of the changes that they are experiencing, but they are noticing the effects of the changes. For example, if you ask the question, do you think time is going faster? A great many will say yes. It is, as if I just got out of bed this morning and before I know it, I'm getting ready for bed again. Where did the day go? Time is more related to the rhythms and the cycles held within our 4 lower bodies than it is to the clock on the wall. That is also interesting because I've been doing lots of videos about the 4 bodies. I just did one about relating them to the parts of a sword yesterday. Very interesting. As these 2 massive waves of light flow within, through, and around us and the earth, the reference points that we have come to know ourselves by are all changing. The first change that is occurring is in the Earth's magnetic fields. The waves of light are altering the magnetic fields that surround the Earth, causing them to weaken, deteriorate, and change. As the Earth's magnetic field changes, the magnetic field cycles rhythms within our spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical bodies are also altered. Some cycles are accelerating while other cycles and rhythms are slowing down. Our concept of time is being altered as the waves of light pass through each of us, changing these rhythms and cycles within. Although the internal sensation is that time is going faster, we are actually losing time. So time is not going faster, rather it's collapsing into a single moment of the present time right now. So to me that sounds very true based on Nassim Haramein's work, that everything's a black hole. And that's very, very fascinating research. If you have not heard of Nassim Haramein, you could check him out. But time collapsing on itself into a single moment, that sounds very correct, scientifically. For example, if you took 5 minutes to walk from point A to point B, and you did this every day of your life, you would have a physical body sense of how long it takes you to cover that distance. But as time collapses, you have less time to walk the same length from A to B. So now you have a physical sense of having to walk faster to cover the same distance, even though your watch still shows the same amount of time that was taken. So what's happening is that your internal sensory mechanisms are telling you that time's going faster because you had to hurry to get to the same place at the same time that your watch actually recorded. As the waves of light are changing our internal rhythms, they are bringing us closer and closer to the present time. Present time is the only place in which we actually exist. And as our internal magnetic fields weaken, our cycles and rhythms are beginning to align to a single flow of consciousness. Our biorhythms, heartbeats, and pulses of the meridian systems are all beginning to align into a singular rhythm, aligning with the heartbeat of the earth. As this occurs, all of our memories, thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that are not aligned with the higher consciousness of well-being are fading away. One wave is clearing away many of our memories of the past. All the arguments, embarrassing moments, painful experiences stored unconsciously within our memories that have nothing to do with who we really are and thus have no value in the present moment. Simultaneously, the other wave of light is expanding the range of possibilities within each of our realities, thereby providing more choice and opportunities to experience ourselves to the very fullest. It's like when the market's going sideways. I feel like a tension in my heart because it feels like these tug of war between these 2 waves. This external expansive out breath with this internal in breath. Losing your memories and gaining your truth. Have you noticed yourself beginning to say something only to realize that you suddenly can't find the words to complete your sentences? Or that you can't recall the word for the spoon that you're holding in your hand? If this is happening to you, don't be alarmed. You're not the only one having these experiences, and no, it's not Alzheimer's disease. Neither does it have anything to do with your gender, age, or culture. The purpose of the second wave of light is to clear away old patterns, beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that we hold that do not support our well-being, because we did not know what to do with insults or invalidations that we received growing up. We learned to store away the uncomfortable and unsupportive thoughts and emotions that we experienced. In so doing, we chose to give up our own seniority along with the truths and beliefs that we naturally held in well-being, and instead chose to believe other people's opinions. I'm definitely guilty of that. As we begin to awaken and remember who we are, many of our old non-truth, non-aligned belief patterns are falling away. In this process, we're losing many of the memories and our reference points upon which these have been built. In the process, we are losing many of our memories and our reference points upon which we have built our third dimensional reality. These are falling away because we cannot take our negative thoughts, beliefs, and emotions with us on this journey. The second wave of light is clearing them from our unconsciousness, as these unconscious reference points that support our sense of lack are being cleared. Simple words like spoon sometimes get caught in the clearing of these patterns. There's nothing broken. It is simply that who we are not and never were is beginning to fall away. Nothing's broken. It's simply that who we are not and never were is simply beginning to fall away. Simultaneously, the first wave of light is passing through us, expanding our awareness and our understanding of who we are, who we have always been. This understanding is not located in our analytical, rational mind. It is centered in our broader field of perception within our knowingness, within our higher consciousness, and the internal guidance system found within our hearts. As we are beginning to remember who we are beginning to let go of who we are not. And although letting go of who we are not is very desirable, letting go of our beliefs or thoughts and concepts of the world is not very easy to experience. The transformation that is occurring within us is shifting our thoughts and beliefs and changing the way in which we experience the world around us. Until now, most of us have measured ourselves by the outside world. Our beliefs about how we look, what is acceptable, what we think, how we act has all been influenced and established by the third dimensional world outside ourselves. In other words, our programming. By our families. Our thoughts create our beliefs create our habits, and our habits create our lives. That's true. Atomic habits is like super trending right now because of that. Changing the habits, working backwards. If you change your habits, you change your beliefs, and then you change your thoughts. Our beliefs are connected to the thoughts that run through our experiences, forming our conclusions. However, many of the thoughts that we think and the beliefs that we hold are actually not our own thoughts or beliefs. They were given to us by mom, dad, teacher, minister, the third dimensional reality outside of ourselves. It's not that mom and dad or anybody else around us set out deliberately to mislead us. They were simply passing on what their parents and their parents' parents, along with most of the rest of the society, had taught them to accept as truth. Growing up, many of us may have intuitively felt that what others accepted as truth did not feel right to us, but consensus opinion's a powerful thing. It's not easy to stand against the crowd or argue with our elders or loved ones. Hence, many of us learned to toe the line, to repress our intuitive senses and dumb down our feelings. So in the process, we became numb. That is why so many people today are so unhappy, but have no idea why. It's because we have lost touch with their own inner guidance system. That makes sense. You turn off your own guidance system because it's just too painful to fight the program all the time. So you just Control Alt Delete, erase your own guidance system and replace it with the matrix. So now we're doing a hardwire reboot, and we're bringing our own guidance system back online. And easy, natural, but where they kind of compete or overlap or don't jive with the system creates a bit of friction, a bit of tension that you feel in your bodies. So now as we begin to awaken, a new recognition is unfolding within us. As we start to seek our own truth and walk our own unique path, many of us are beginning to realize that there is much more to who we are than the outside world has ever led us to believe. As we look within, we are beginning to realize that we are multidimensional, spiritual beings able to align with a higher truth. As this transformation is occurring, we are beginning to recognize that it is our own truth that creates happiness, success, balanced health, while adding simplicity to our life path. In the past, only a few souls have experienced this higher truth, but now this truth has turned into an adventure that is being sought by many. Because of you and the many others who are now awakening, a new consciousness is unfolding. The third dimensional world that was defined by truths, structures, and beliefs of those around us is no longer working and is being dissolved. We are experiencing a huge change, a quickening in conscious awareness, a grand awakening. So, basically what he's saying, the big shift and the grand awakening is just simply like replacing everybody else's truths with your own truth. And simply put, chapter 3, what are the third and fourth dimensions? Many of us know or intuitively feel that there is a restructuring or movement going on, but few of us have sufficient information to make sense of the feelings. Quite simply, we are stepping out of the third dimensional reality, passing through the fourth, and are on the way to the fifth dimension. But what are these dimensions? Dimensions are not places, rather they are levels of consciousness, each with its own characteristics and ways of thinking, feeling, and experiencing. Understanding these aspects, rules, and structures of the third and fourth dimension gives us the opportunity to step from the noise of the third dimension and its rigid structures into a more fluid set of choices held within the fourth. In order to make this simple, let's consider the third and fourth dimensions each as a box. These two boxes overlap one another, allowing us to move from one box to the other. We have actually been living in the third and fourth dimensions simultaneously for well over 60 years. The box holds noise, rigidity, and uncomfortable emotions, while the other box holds choice, beauty, well-being, and appreciation. You have experienced yourself in both of these boxes, but without a clear definition of what occurs in each box. It becomes difficult to understand and master yourself even in the best situations. By knowing the differences between the two boxes, a person can choose to live the life they wish to live, rather than simply reacting to life as it arrives on their doorstep each morning. So becoming a deliberate creator, as Esther Hicks would say. By describing the characteristics of each box, we can develop a better understanding of how to choose. So chapter 4 is about third dimensional box and structures. Okay? Form. First, the earth, the mountains, the rivers, the lamp, the chair, and the flowers that surround us are not the third dimension. These are aspects of form. Form is the result of density. Form has shapes, mass, texture, and weight that exists in both the third and fourth dimensions. Here's the first useful piece that is not obvious. Form is also held within our thoughts and the emotions. Although it is not seen as physical density, heavy, ugly thoughts will produce a response. Additionally, light, airy, beautiful thoughts will produce a very different feeling or response. For example, have you ever accepted somebody else's opinion that you've done something wrong or you are to blame for something, and then found yourself walking around with a heavy, uncomfortable feeling of guilt? Of course we have. This guilt or blame is called a thought form. How you choose to observe and hold that thought form will influence your state of mind, your emotions, and even your physical health. This has all been scientifically proven. Louise Hay was a pioneer in this with her little blue book. I have it somewhere, but on the affirmations that can help heal your physical body. It also determines your ability to successfully create your life or not. Heavy emotionally charged thoughts are held in the third dimensional reality, whereas light, airy, beautiful thought forms are held in the fourth dimension. 3 aspects of the third dimension. Let's explore the characteristics that are found within the third dimension. Remember, this is a box that holds a portion of your life experience. In order to fully understand all that is about to be said, it is very helpful to understand the law of attraction. Now you might say, but I already know all about the law of attraction. But believing you know about the law of attraction and living the law of attraction are 2 very different experiences. The law of attraction says what you place your attention upon, I, the universe, which adores you, will provide for you. The law of attraction is so important. It is the foundation of everything that you have ever experienced. The law of attraction does not understand words. It does not understand please and thank you in English, French, or any other language. The law of attraction understands the thought and the emotional vibrations that you hold, both consciously and unconsciously. If you believe something is, or you believe something is not, the law of attraction will respond accordingly. If you amplify your thoughts or beliefs with a charge of emotion, the law of attraction will provide you with more of the same in a quicker, fuller manner. What you put your attention on with a charged emotion is what you will receive, absolutely guaranteed. Time in the third dimension. Most of humanity has been taught and believes that time is fixed and linear, past, present, future, and then you die. Although this is the generally accepted belief, it is incorrect. In the third dimension, time operates as a loop. It consists of a flow of thoughts and experiences that we label positive or negative. Either we embrace the experiences and hope they happen again, or we resist them and hope they do not happen again. To keep it simple, we take our past experiences, project them in the future, and then step into the experience in the future present time moment to feel it all over again in a different size, shape, or color. Let's take 2 examples. First, let's say that I was told that if I would become a lawyer, doctor, teacher, or a nurse, I would be so happy and successful. And although I may not feel correct inside, I agree. Although that may not feel correct inside, I agree. I then take that information and place it out in front of me and follow that belief into the future. A belief is seldom experienced in the present moment, but projected out into a future. Second, and this is perhaps a more important example, let us say that once I had a relationship that was the best of the best until it was not. My lover left, telling me I was a terrible person. I would never succeed. I was not nice, and I did not have anything to offer. to create a successful relationship with him or her. I was hurt. I felt rejected, and I went into a deep state of grief. Although I tried to get over this experience, I could not let it go. I could not let it go, nor could I understand how I could be such a terrible person. Eventually, I made the decision that I was okay, at least on the surface, and I never wanted to meet someone like that again because I did not want to be hurt again. So I screamed to the universe, God, never let this kind of experience happen to me again. If a person of that type ever comes anywhere near me, please warn me. Put up big red flags so I don't get hurt again. Can you see how I took a bad period from my past and placed it in my future, and then added a big dose of emotionally charged pain, fear, and avoidance in order to protect myself? I think you can see where he's going here. The law of attraction does not understand the word no, don't, or stop. It understands only what we hold our attention upon. And because the universe and the law of attraction adores me, and it is the universe's passion to satisfy my every request, guess what I found on my next doorstep the next morning? And the next, and the next, and the next. With each step into the next present time moment, I experience precisely what I asked for through my vibration. In other words, if the vibrations of my thoughts and emotions are negative, I get exactly what I put my attention upon. I will provide you with exactly what you ask for, smiles the law of attraction. So third dimensional time is not a structure. It is an application that allows us to create a new set of experiences based on the past to be experienced in the future. This is why he's saying it's a loop. My friend Liana used to say that we bring our past into our present so that we can fuck up our future. That's pretty true. Or mess up our future, for a friendlier language. Okay, so once again, the third dimensional time is not a structure, it's an application that allows us to create a new set of experiences based on our past to be experienced in our future. In the third dimension, there is a small sliver of present time known as a reactionary present time. In this sliver, we step into the future that we resisted, finding ourselves in present time reacting to what we swore we'd never again wanted to experience. This is how time works in the third dimension box. In the third dimension, choice is not a choice really, because choice does not exist in the third dimension. Let me read that again. In the third dimension, choice is not a choice because choice does not exist in the third dimension. Also built into the structure of the third dimensional time is a wonderful mechanism that can keep us out of great difficulty. It's a buffer or a lag in time. This gives us a chance to reconsider the consequences of our actions, reactions, thoughts, and emotions before we react and create something that we might have to clean up or apologize for afterwards. This built-in structure allows us a moment of pause in which to consider an action. During the shift, however, this time buffer is dissolving, so many people are finding that things are now starting to manifest faster and faster than they ever have before. In our future, present time moments, this buffer will cease to exist. Doesn't make sense. In our future present time moments, this buffer will cease. Oh, in the future. Okay, sorry. In our future present time moments, this buffer will cease to exist. God, I don't know why that was so hard. I guess we really needed to understand that. What you ask for is what you'll get right now, instantly, exactly in the form that you think it. So Gabriel, that I've worked with for 23 years now, with all of the crystal and the energy, the peace events, the 1111 stuff, she calls that the space between the in-breath and the out-breath, the pause. So that pause between the breaths, she calls that what he's talking about. So again, she said also, Gabriel is saying that we've been whining and crying and praying and begging and asking for the veils to dissolve, but that's what he's talking about. That means that we don't get this buffer, this pause to consider the manifestations of our current feelings and thoughts. So it becomes that is the gift of time, that it slows things down so that we can learn and grow and choose again. But I believe in life after death. It's more complicated, like that Robin Williams movie. What's it called? What Dreams May Come. That's such a good movie if you haven't seen it. What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams. His wife commits suicide and goes into the same dark place after she dies that's in her head, and Robin Williams goes in and he rescues her and helps her heal and brings her into a peaceful state of existence there. Okay, duality. Another important aspect of the third dimension is duality. Living within this field of duality was simply meant to provide us with a broader array of choices and opportunities in order to know ourselves. Duality is a predominant structure of perception. Before the fall of consciousness a long time ago, the purpose of duality was to assist us to learn how to walk in balance while experiencing contrast. If everything were blue, there would be no contrast. Once red's brought in amongst the blue, now we have a contrast. Contrast was created to provide us with experiences for choice, such as hot and cold, large and small, bright and dull, etc. As we began to experience third dimensional consciousness, we added into duality the concepts of right and wrong, good and bad, and should not. When we lived in the higher fourth dimension and above, there was no good or bad, right or wrong. There was no judgment. Nothing was broken. There was nothing to fear. There were simply choices of contrast, giving us more ways to experience and know ourselves. But with the fall of consciousness came fear, judgment, and separation. We learned us and them. We learned to resist them. These concepts of judgment, separation, good, bad, right, wrong, should not, created rigid, unforgiving structures that does not allow for flexibility and choice. This third dimensional belief system bound our thoughts and emotions, creating extreme beliefs in never and always. Rigid thought forms with a very little opportunity for change, ease, or well-being. In this rigid belief system, a heavy thought form, fear and pain were anchored. This is what the this is what the second wave of light's beginning to neutralize and remove from our memory as we prepare to step into the higher dimensions. the rational mind. Our analytical, reasoning thought processes is known as our rational mind. When we experienced the fallen consciousness, we lost access to a great portion of our ability to perceive reality around us. We learned to experience fear of the past and worry of the future. We lost the use of many of our spiritual abilities, along with access to over 90% of the operational function within the brain, hence creating our rational mind. The development of this rational mind has served us well in this environment. Its purpose has become to keep us safe and have us fit in. Due to fear and misuse, however, the rational mind operates more in limitation than it does in possibility and opportunity, because we have been given assignments to the mind that it was not designed for. Our awareness and spiritual ranges of choice have greatly diminished. While the logical mind is a wonderful tool for measuring, comparing, and making decisions, it only knows what it knows, and it has lost access to what it does not know. For thousands of years, the rational mind has kept humanity tightly focused in the third dimensional realm, and this is now changing. That's like the research on the reticular activator. They liken the reticular activator to the guy that works at the air traffic control station with the computer screens, and he lets the planes land and take off safely. So this is why this reticular activator, this is why when you are looking at getting like a new red Chevy Sprint, you see them everywhere. Okay, well, those were always everywhere, but you never seen them because your reticular activator knew it wasn't important for you to see. So this like fall of consciousness and losing the ability to perceive reality around us is true, and its purpose was so that we didn't like overwhelm and fry our circuits, basically. Because if we saw everything that was around us, 100% of it all the time, like it would be sort of like that scene in X-Men when he puts that helmet on and he's like, he can feel and hear everybody's thoughts. Okay, so it's changing. The three structures of this third dimensional box are critical to our understanding. These three energetic structures, the time loop, duality, and the rational mind, are intricately woven into the fabric of the third dimensional matrix. By becoming aware of the underlying templates from which the third dimension operates, we can begin to have a choice to step out of the third dimension. We can reconstruct and remember a significant part of ourselves, thereby freeing us to move beyond the limits of the third dimension and opening the possibilities of the higher fourth and fifth dimensions. Chapter 5. The fourth dimensional box and structure. As we begin to wake up and become conscious of being conscious, we also begin to experience options and choices that are not available to us in the third dimension. The components of the fourth dimensional box are actually very simple, but because we spend so much time in motion, reacting to our past, worrying about our future, we spend very little time in the present. Because the pull between our past and our future, it's difficult to become quiet enough to hold our attention on the simplicity of life that's actually before us. In the third dimension, the law of attraction responds to the noise, motion, and reactions that we hold within us, giving back to us more of the same. By understanding and living three aspects of the fourth dimension, we interrupt all of the largely unconscious, emotionally charged reactions and instead consciously choose the outcome that we desire, thereby allowing the law of attraction to give us new positive desires. Present time. Learning to experience yourself in the present moment is the single most important choice you can make in moving forward on your journey. Where third dimensional present time is a charged reactionary moment influenced by our past, our fourth dimensional present time is a quiet now moment. We only exist in the now, but most of us hold very little of our attention here. We are consumed by past experiences and projected worries. Yet paradoxically, because we do not understand the structures of the dimensions, it is precisely this fear-based state of thought and emotion that keeps us bound to the third dimension. But in the fourth dimension, past and future time change significantly. The past simply becomes a neutral experience or a historic event for reference. And yesterday's pain has no bearing on tomorrow. So we basically get over it and don't keep reactivating it. We let it go for real. The information, knowledge, and wisdom gained from the past assist us, of course, in making better decisions about our current and future well-being. The present is all there is, though. You can plan for future events using information gathered from the past, but the decisions become conscious choices made in the present moment. Well, the future is an opportunity waiting to be fashioned. It is in this now moment that our choices are made. Choice. In the fourth dimension, reaction is replaced by choice, providing flexibility and new possibilities. With choice, you have an opportunity to observe and to experience and to choose without judgment, right or wrong, good or bad, or the fear of being punished. Fourth dimensional consciousness, conscious choice gives you the opportunity to make mistakes and then correct the situation without blame or guilt. Conscious choice invites a wider range of possibilities, allowing for well-being, happiness, and realignment within the heart. It is in the fourth dimension that you get to take back your power to choose. You can make better decisions from a platform of focused clarity, certainty, and awareness of your own personal presence. As a third dimensional good and bad, right and wrong fall away, an ever-expanding sense of capability begins to reawaken in you. Choice creates opportunity. Opportunity allows for well-being. Well-being awakens happiness, openness, and the inner smile within your heart. From your open heart, your purpose and the fulfillment of all your dreams are within your grasp. I really like this. I like that he's redefining choice because sometimes my sisters say to me well, you chose that, you made those choices and they were bad choices, and I think fuck yeah, I did, I'm taking responsibility, but it doesn't feel like it was a choice. I did struggle with that. So I'm happy reading this because it's true. You have limited knowledge sometimes and resources and information, and so you do the best in the moment that you can, but you start to lose faith in yourself because you think, oh, that was a stupid choice, and well, I messed up again. And so this book is saying that there actually is no choices in the third dimension because it's a loop. You're stuck in a reactionary loop, so you really need to take the time to step within and shift your feelings and your thoughts by using some of the spiritual tools that we have. And then we can make choices because we have different expanded information at our fingertips to make the choices from. So I'm going to work on that a little bit, like let this sink in. It's very good information. Okay, another fourth dimensional thing is higher concepts. As you become conscious of being conscious in the fourth dimensional reality, many higher concepts of life become available, allowing you to move around with greater ease and understanding. One of the higher concepts is paradox. Paradox, simply stated, is what was true a moment ago may not be true in this now moment, and what was false a moment ago may no longer be false in this moment. Because of the fears, pain, and distrust that we have all stored in our unconsciousness, we hold many rigid beliefs about the world around us and those that live within it. We hold these beliefs anchored in words such as always and never. He will always be bad. She will never change. I will never forgive them. As the past pains of the third dimension are dragged into the future, our tendency is to react the same way this time as we reacted the last time, thereby repeating experiences of the past once again. As we consciously recognize that we have a choice about the world around us, incorporating the concept of paradox allows the past to just be the past, and it frees the future for a new opportunity. Paradox allows us to recognize that a person or situation as it occurred in the past, however, it now provides the opportunity to observe the person and situation in this moment, thereby allowing them to be who they are now, rather than us observing them through limitations of past reactions. As paradox loosens up the rigidity of the past, the higher concept of allowing opens up broader opportunities for you to experience. Allowing is a powerful concept. It does not imply weakness or inability, but rather simply enables you to recognize the situation before you, providing you with a present time choice to create a better opportunity for a more desirable future outcome. As you begin to recognize the many tools, skills, concepts, and opportunities the fourth dimension provides, your life will change. It's a bold statement, especially for a lot of people that feel stuck. You can choose to step out of habits and reactions and restrictions. Trust becomes a choice. The need to experience lack, weakness, fear, and doubts fall rapidly away as the structures of the fourth dimension are understood and practiced. What we consider to be mere words in the third dimension now become concepts with fuller, deeper meanings and a more rounded flow and experience of the fourth. Words such as happy, certainty, seniority, presence, capability, graciousness, and command are no longer just intellectual thoughts, but rather they become important internal sensations and feelings guided by the heart. These concepts can only be felt and lived in the present time moment. As you remember and re-own these feelings and sensations, you reignite the internal guidance system within your heart. And as other higher vibrant concepts become internalized, felt, and demonstrated within your life, a transformation most definitely occurs in how you present and experience yourself. I love that languaging. That's Halliday, my friend that owns the Chiron medicine herd of horses. This is the way the horses talk. They present themselves to you in a certain way so that you can see an aspect of yourself. I find that languaging is so easy to accept, especially when you're like up against a very rigid third dimensional construct. If you think of it like, you always do this, you always show up, you always do this, you're this way, you're that way. If you just say, hey, you're presenting as upset right now, can you explain what's going on for you? Or you're presenting as stubborn, or that removes for me the defensive reaction. So I like this, that he's using this language of presenting. So that's a fourth dimensional, which is kind of cool to know. Like that Halliday and the horse herd is why it's so powerful. Sometimes you just go there to walk a horse through a labyrinth and you're just holding the horse and start crying and you're like, what is going on? So I guess just simply being in their presence, because they're holding their heart in that higher dimension, just allows you to clear so much of these rigid systems that don't serve us. They help you come into the present moment. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, back to here. Okay. These concepts can only be felt and lived in the present time moment. As you remember and re-own these feelings and sensations, you reignite your internal guidance system within your heart. And as other higher, vibrant concepts become internalized, felt, and demonstrated within your life, a transformation occurs in how you present and experience yourself. These words are more than concepts. They are living words. They are energetic building blocks that we will discuss in later chapters. As you begin to wear and experience these words that weave together like a well-tailored suit of clothes, creating new ease and a brighter presence, you no longer give away your power. You now begin to choose and create from these higher vibrations the life you wish to experience. This is our natural state of being. However, becoming conscious, aware, and holding a well-grounded sense of self requires a shift in your habits and beliefs. Since childhood, most of us have been invalidated in our third dimensional experience. We have not been taught, nor have we been encouraged or even allowed to make decisions from our own naturally balanced places of certainty, trust, and passion. Instead, most of us have been taught to fear, doubt, and mistrust the world around us. Consequently, we have not fully experienced who we came here to be. This is most people's number one thing, hey? Their life purpose, what they came here to do. So he's just saying that we haven't been able to drop into that as of yet. But these waves of energy are helping us. Alignment and balance. The reality that we know as a third dimension is a classroom of sorts, where we are participating in an ever-expanding evolutionary cycle of our spiritual growth. In order to play in this classroom, we have had to forget ourselves, to leave much of our wisdom, knowledge, and many of our great skills behind. In short, the third dimension is a classroom of imbalance. Our purpose, our mission, is to rediscover and master balance. However, since by definition the third dimension is imbalance, balance can never be found in the third dimension. It can only be found by stepping out of the third dimension. And this is the doorway that we call the fourth dimension. So there you go, is the key he's sort of planting here, is that when you step into the present moment, you're accessing choice, and then you can find balance. Very few rules exist in the fourth dimension. It is open, receptive, and allowing of all possibilities. It is a dimension of choice and observation, and it operates as a flexible platform without the rigidity of the third dimensional box. The fourth dimension provides us with an opportunity to reframe our reference points, review our beliefs, and attain a new understanding of what is possible. It allows us to be in the world, but not of the world. The fourth dimension is a stepping stone to higher dimensions. It provides us with an opportunity for movement towards a higher way of life, a life of community, cooperation, and co-creation. A dream life for many of us. As long ago as the 16th century, William Shakespeare wrote, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players." Shakespeare wasn't just a great playwright, he was a very wise man, for life on this planet is indeed a grand play. And now we were coming to the end of Act 3, the final act. This is where we get to bring our grand play to its finale and go home. Going home is precisely what the shift is all about. The shift is clearing away all that we are not and assisting us in rewiring the connections so that we can finally remember all that we are. However, this is not going to happen all on its own without any effort on our part. In order to complete this wonderful game, we are going to have to put ourselves back together again. This is where mastering alchemy comes in. This is where learning to recreate our personal power fields and the tools of sacred geometry finally come into play. Okay, chapter 6. Okay, we're almost done. Oh, this is like amazing. I thought this would take me 15 minutes. So crazy. It's like a time expanded reading this little tiny little book. Chapter 6, Tools to Rebuild Yourself, Reclaiming Your Command Center. I like that. Understanding who we are requires that we bring ourselves into a present time focus. There is a place within the center of our heads that acts as a command center, a place where clear decisions can be made and actions can be set into motion. However, as we grew up and learned to trust the opinions and beliefs of others, we stepped away, as it were, from the center of our heads and gave way to our seniority. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about this distraction. I just am struggling so much with this chakra. The last few days, it's like panic. This is healing from the center. Okay. However, as we grew up and learned to trust the opinions and beliefs of others, we stepped away, as it were, from the center of our heads and gave away our seniority to those who said they had a better idea of life than we did. Reclaiming the center of our heads is necessary if we are to move forward. Whose thoughts and emotions are these? The true gift of grounding. As we have learned, many of the thoughts we think and the emotions we feel passing through us each day do not even belong to us. Thoughts are electrical, and the emotions are magnetic. In addition to helping realign us to our own personal frequency, rebuilding our grounding mechanism is invaluable in clearing away these thoughts and emotions. There are two components to grounding. One consists of an electrical line that runs from the first chakra to the center of the earth, which grounds non-aligned electrical thinking. The second consists of a coil of energy that wraps around the electrical grounding line and runs all the way down to the center of the earth. Its purpose is to clear away all the emotions that don't belong to you. Okay, that's good information that the thoughts are electrical, the mental body is electrical, and the emotional body is magnetic. This would be some cool, like, to spiral into that after on your own, on the online. Sacred geometry, rebuilding your personal power field with the dectahedron. Once we have grounded ourselves, the next step is to rebuild the geometric containment field. The aura, or personal energy field, was originally held within a series of geometric shapes. The first and least complex geometric shape to be rebuilt is known as the octahedron. This geometric shape has the appearance of a diamond or four-sided pyramid pointing up, placed on top of a four-sided pyramid pointing down. The octahedron acts as an antenna, aligning and reconnecting us with our own higher dimensional frequency of consciousness. By recreating this geometric shape, we begin to put into place the necessary structure to rebuild our personal power field. This is done by creating a column of light that moves from a point beneath us upward through the central core of our body, surrounding the chakras and extending to a point above our head. See the diagram on the next page. Okay, right here. So let me show this to you. For people that really connect with pyramids, this is how you can use pyramids for healing. There's one above us and one beneath us. The octahedron. Okay. As this flow of light continues to extend upward through the column and out the top, it accelerates around the octahedron and flows back into the bottom of the column to accelerate upwards again. This accelerated flow of light then creates a stabilized platform of consciousness that opens up opportunities to know oneself as a higher dimensional being. It's got a footnote here that says the building of the octahedron, the column of light, and the spherical fields can be viewed as an animation on the homepage at masteringalchemy.com. So it's probably a better place to see it because it's the black and white here. But I think what he's basically getting at here is that this creates the toroidal field. And toroidal fields are another extremely important part of the research that Nassim Haramein has done that I mentioned earlier with the black hole. Chapter 7, where it's taking you. From this awareness, we once again become able to realign balance within our masculine and feminine energy fields. This starts with an expanded conscious communication with Gaia, the Earth consciousness, and within the grids of light surrounding the Earth, known as ascension grids. As the Earth's energy flows up through the central column within our body, a sphere of light is formed, enabling a reconnection with the higher dimensional feminine nature of Mother God. This allows the reconnection of all aspects of the divine feminine that we lost in the fall of consciousness. Through the connection of the ascension grid, the masculine nature of the Father God is then brought down through the central column of our body and flows out and around us, creating a perfect masculine sphere of symmetry that surrounds our body, allowing a balanced integration of male energy to become available to us. Entering the higher mind. From this level of consciousness, we can now accelerate the surrounding fields of light to a velocity approaching the speed of light. Not a difficult thing to do. From this faster, higher frequency and opening into the alignment of light known as the higher mind now becomes available to us. The higher mind is vast. Although entering the higher mind is not difficult, mastery of the higher mind is an eternal unfolding. The higher mind is quiet. There is a detachment from the world around us. There is focus clarity, and curiosity. No questions are asked. It is through the higher mind that consciousness contacts with the soul. And it is from here that access to the heart becomes available in a manner that is totally unapproachable from the noise of the third dimension. It is from here that we are able to access the sacred heart, the higher heart, the sanctuary of the pink diamond, as it is known in the higher levels of consciousness. Okay, the sanctuary of the pink diamond. As you enter the sacred heart, the sanctuary of the pink diamond, you do so in a deep reverence. To enter sacred heart, a sacred seal is opened. The seal can only be opened by being the love that you are. Being the love that you are facilitates entry into a chamber of the hall of crystals, where much is stored, lying dormant, waiting to be reactivated. From here, you are finally able to enter the sacred heart, at the center of which lies a brilliant, radiant, pink crystallized light. Within the sanctuary of the pink diamond, there are a number of activations that will occur. The first and most important of which is to invite your soul back into your heart to once again become one with your soul. Chapter 8. The fifth dimension. Your spiritual abilities are revealed. When you enter the fifth dimensional consciousness, you experience a full reintegration with your higher self and merge with your soul. This reconnection with the higher aspects allows you to once again know yourself at a soul level. You begin to think from your heart and act from the wisdom of your soul. Your innate, intuitive, spiritual abilities now become fully available to you again. These include clairvoyance, telepathy, abstract intuition, and many more. You become fully conscious, accessing the wisdom and information available within the higher multi-dimensional aspect of that which you have always been. There is no separation. The higher dimensions operate within fields of awareness that are not accessible to the rational third or fourth dimensional mind. These rules, structures, and means of creating in this field of awareness are known as alchemy, which is a natural way of life in the higher dimensions. Alchemy is defined by the archangels as the ability to change the frequencies of thought, alter the harmonics of matter, and apply the elements of love to create your desired results. Mastering of alchemy is found in curiosity, inquisitiveness, and application. Learning to utilize sound, color, and geometry to weave shape and form. Magnetism, electromagnetism, patterns of light, feelings of beauty, and higher aspects of love all come together to form the complexities of universities as well as the simplicity of a drop of water on a morning lily. Alchemy is the very fabric of the fifth dimension. There is much that changes in the fifth dimension. Consciousness becomes broader, more dynamic than anything you can imagine from the third dimension. Physical density ends. Form becomes very fluid. The structure of your physical body turns into light. Much of your DNA is reactivated to the portion of your brain that has been dormant for so long becomes alive again. The fifth dimension vibrates at a very high, brilliant, fast frequency range of light, love, and great beauty. Heavy, dense thoughts and emotional vibrations such as reaction, anger, judgment, and fear cannot be held in the fifth dimensional realm. In the fifth dimensional frequency ranges of light, there is no limitations. All possibilities are available for creation. Time in the fifth dimension. Time exists once again in the fifth dimension, but in a very different configuration than previously experienced. Once fourth dimensional present time is understood, time shifts into simultaneous time. In simultaneous time, all things exist at the same place at the same moment. In the fifth dimension, there is no past or future lives, no parallel or alternative lives. All that you have ever been or ever will be is accessible in this dimension of consciousness at the same moment. Infinity of choices. As a citizen of the fifth dimension, you will remember how to master every thought, every word, every action, and every instant. As a fully conscious being of light, you will have multiple opportunities to expand and continue your journey as a unique, immortal spark of the Creator that you are. There are an infinite number of choices, as well as infinite possibilities to choose from in order to experience your journey. For example, one choice is to continue experiencing yourself as a unique, singular aspect of the Creator, fully conscious of you. You could choose to experience this as an ascended master in a different galaxy or universe. Or have you ever considered the possibility of becoming conscious of a planet or a star? You could also choose to continue on into the seventh, eighth, and ninth dimensions, becoming one with a collective group consciousness, knowing all that is held within the unique collective consciousness and experiencing the oneness. A third opportunity is to once again return to the oneness of all that is, returning to the heart of the Creator and experiencing yourself as the Creator experiences itself. These are all choices that are available to you, and no one choice is better than any of the others. They simply all exist within the infinite fields of endless possibilities and awarenesses. Chapter 9. How to enjoy your journey. If you are reading this book, you have been extraordinarily successful on your journey, and it is now time to return home. The purpose of the shift is to facilitate, assist, and bring to you all the possibilities that will allow you to release who you are not, as well as enable you to embrace who you always have been, but have forgotten. The first and most important choice is to become aware of the fact that you have choice. This means choosing to become conscious of being conscious, choosing to be the higher dimensional being that you are, becoming conscious and choosing to observe without being influenced by or reacting to the motion and noise around you, allowing others to act out without making their behavior personal, looking for a higher road to choose in each situation. These are the choices of the fourth dimension. Whereas continuing to argue with or push against, choosing blame and guilt, allowing yourself to be the effect of thoughts and emotions of others, resenting the situations you find yourself in and complaining about it over and over, these are all third dimensional reality choices. Which are you going to choose? Walking a higher path. When you choose to walk the higher path, you will begin to notice, if you allow yourself to, that you're beginning to think more often with your heart and are acting from the wisdom of your higher mind to create better sets of choices. When you choose to decide to follow your heart, you discover that there are many tools, skills, and abilities that can be accessed and learned that will assist the acceleration of awakening consciousness. As you align with the alchemy of your heart, directed from a higher dimensional aspect of yourself, you can recreate a platform of stability and grace. From these higher vibrations of awareness, much information now becomes available to you. As you choose to master alchemy, you begin to integrate the worlds of higher concepts. learning to fully comprehend words such as happiness, certainty, seniority, presence, capable, gracious, and command. These are not merely words to be spoken, rather they are words to be experienced. These are living energy fields of consciousness that are to be integrated and demonstrated. The higher rays of creation. From this platform, you begin to access the higher rays of creation, which form the energetic building blocks used by all aspects of the Creator to create the all that is. The 12 rays of creation are the frequencies, sound currents, color, and geometries that form and organize every adamanite particle, the basic building blocks of universal love. By learning and applying the rays of creation, you will learn to clear away disharmonic unconscious patterns, which magnetically bind us to the third dimension, and much more. Simultaneous time. As you learn to place your attention into the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional thought realms, you begin to access the knowledge held within the frequencies of these higher realms of consciousness. You begin to experience simultaneous time, which enables you to access all the experiences of your past lives and all the wisdom of your future lives. With this expanded knowledge and wisdom, you can now change the geometry of the dodecahedron into a vehicle of light known as the star tetrahedron. This geometry allows for a greater range of information and the opportunity to participate in higher dimensions. And this is just the beginning. It is interesting. I'm listening to somebody's story on another podcast, and she said when she found a counselor from a spiritual community, and they did a prayer of protection. And it was like a Christian religious, so it was using Jesus, in Jesus' name, invoking this prayer of protection. And she said that it created such peace within her. She was no longer attacked like interdimensionally in her dreams. She was constantly being harassed and attacked by like satanic forces. And after this prayer, in the name of Jesus and all that's good and holy, it must have broke this bond, because it sounds almost like magic, like a bad spell, what we just read. Like it breaks that. Anyways, she was able to remember everything, like about her life. All these pieces came flooding forward on all her memories after she broke that spell, that negative energy. It's very interesting. Kind of explained that, just explained how come she was able to magically remember stuff after she had that peace. Okay, chapter 10, I think. Yeah, 11, 12. Okay, we're rounding the end here. I wish I had some water. Okay, let's just finish this up, okay? The mastering of alchemy. This expanded knowledge opens communication with the guidance from many levels of consciousness, including the angelic, animal, and elemental realms. Your imagination will open and you will experience and see things that you have never thought possible, and perceive opportunities that had never been imagined. You will have access to the many amazing and beautiful gardens and temples within the higher dimensions. In these gardens, the trees sing, creating a symphony of beauty and well-being. And as their melodies fill the air with vibrational energy, not only do the colors of the leaves change every moment, but they release new fragrances that have never been experienced in the third dimensional reality. As you step through slivers of simultaneous time, access to the temples of healing and resurrection are immediately available, and you are welcomed into temples of wisdom, purification, and the violet consuming flame. You also begin to create new pathways within the sleep state, through lower astral realms into higher etheric realms, so that upon your return to waking state, you now begin to remember where you journeyed and with whom you played as your body slept. These are but a few of the opportunities that await you in the field of possibilities within the fifth dimension. Chapter 11. Unveiling the experiment. This is a grand adventure. An adventure that was never thought possible. What and how we are creating is being observed from every corner of all the universes. There is amazement, admiration, and great joy in the hearts of the observers as they watch the grand finale unfold. We are not only unraveling ourselves from the third dimension, we are creating a new home, a new heaven on earth in the higher dimensions. As spectacular as this is, there is more. There is now an opportunity that was never previously imagined to be possible for these times. In co-creation with the archangels and the great beings of light, there is an opportunity to bring forth a new pathway, one that is created through the hearts of the most passionate of humanity, those who can hold the dream of bringing heaven to earth. This pathway is an experiment. As the third dimension is being dissolved, all of humanity will move forward on a path to returning home, leaving the third dimension behind to become a mere reflection of a shadow gone by. The great portion of mass of consciousness that is tangled in their fear and belief of lack will follow a path with numerous pauses in order to heal, remember, and grow. As their new way of life is remembered and the alchemy of higher dimensions understood, they will find themselves also in the beauty of the higher dimensions. However, those of you who are reading the book have an opportunity to make different choices. The archangels believe there is an opportunity now to provide a set of tools and a series of choices and experiences for those who ask. If chosen, an extraordinary opportunity is now possible. A pathway for this experiment has been created, and if followed, it will enable humanity to bypass incremental steps that mass consciousness will experience. If followed, this pathway will greatly accelerate the journey of each who chooses to step upon it, and will accelerate the journey for all of humanity. Revealing chapter 12, the final chapter, revealing the true nature of the experiment. The purpose of this small book is to introduce you to the new pathway and to reveal to you the true nature of the experiment. You are the experiment. You are being asked to awaken and walk this accelerated pathway with the hope that as you once again become the fully conscious being of bright light that you are, others will see your light and follow you back to the heart of the Creator. It was hoped that the year 2000, a small group of humans could align a vibration of light so brilliant that it crystallized a doorway to be created. As we approach the year 2012, that glimmer has become a brilliant flame of light, which is now being firmly held by those who believe. Those of you who are remembering and beginning to understand that not only are you not little, as you erroneously thought, but you are bigger and more important and more significant than you have ever imagined. And most importantly, you count. You are the light that appears at the top of the candlestick for all in the house to see. And as you awaken and remember, realign, rewire and recreate yourself, your vibration is beginning to wake up the rest of the world. Today, the experiment is unfolding and you are awakening. Be pleased with yourself. It is time for all of us to return home. Epilogue. Okay. This is just about him, so I'm going to skip that. Okay, if you want to know more about him, you can go to Mastering Alchemy, and that was the shift, and hopefully it's created some new ways of thinking about things and some inspiration. And I know for me reading this, it felt like a huge packet of information that I want to unpack and go online and look at his website and check out the magnetic and electrical parts of our body, and look into the law of attraction some more, and do some of my own meditation and journaling, and just kind of work with this a little bit. So that is that.